For decades, if you wanted to become a published author, you had to fight your way past a whole lot of gatekeepers. But what happens when those walls start to come down? Well, today we're going to look at how technology is paving totally new, digital-first highways for writers to get from a blank page to a published book.
So here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the big problem writers are facing. Then we'll dive into two very different tech-based solutions. We'll put them head-to-head, and finally we'll zoom out and ask what this all means for the future of stories.
All right, let's get into it. To really appreciate these new solutions, we first have to understand why the old path for writers has become, well, so much harder.
We've all heard this one, right? The starving artist. But it's not just a trope. It points to a pretty harsh reality. For a long time, writers had to somehow prove they were a good financial bet before getting any real support. And that meant their passion was usually a side hustle they squeezed in around a day job.
And lately, this whole problem has gotten way worse. Arts funding is drying up, which means the grants that used to be a lifeline for new writers are just gone. Then you have the collapse of these massive community cornerstones like National Novel Writing Month, the event that got thousands of people to write a novel in 30 days. When something like that disappears, it leaves a huge vacuum, and aspiring authors are left without the structure they really depended on.
So, here's the crucial thing. As these old systems fade away, a totally new kind of support system is popping up. And it's not coming from the old-school publishers or arts councils. Nope, it's coming from the tech world.
So instead of these centralized gatekeepers, we're now seeing decentralized platforms that anyone can access, anywhere in the world. They use tech to help writers through the entire messy process, not just waiting at the finish line. Let's look at two completely different platforms tackling this. One is armed with a $95,000 war chest, and the other is backed by the power of a massive global community.
Okay, first up we have ProWritingAid's Novel Beginnings. This program is laser-focused on one thing: helping writers craft that perfect, polished pitch to win over the traditional publishing world. You can think of this as the path for, say, the serious literary novelist, or the person writing a high-concept thriller.
And they are not messing around. They're putting serious cash on the table. A $95,000 prize pool isn't just a contest. It's a direct financial strike against that starving artist idea. It's designed to give writers the one thing they need more than anything else: the resources to just write.
And look at the strategy here. It's brilliant. That $50,000 grand prize, it's not just a check. It's a creative sabbatical. It's enough money for a writer to actually quit their day job and finish their book. And the runner-up prizes are surgically targeted to cover things like professional editing and marketing, the exact expenses that can stop a fantastic book dead in its tracks.
The whole program is built to perfect the first 5,000 words. Now, why that specific number? Because that's the standard sample a literary agent asks for. This isn't about banging out a messy first draft. No, this is a marathon of deep, careful refinement, designed from the ground up to create a submission package that an agent simply can't ignore.
And it's way more than just a contest. It's a full-on development course. You start by preparing with expert-led classes. Then you write, building good habits with group writing sprints. And finally, you connect with other writers for that crucial feedback. It's an entire ecosystem built to get you ready for the big leagues.
Okay, now let's do a complete 180 and look at a totally different model. If Novel Beginnings is all about getting that professional polish for the gatekeepers, Wattpad's Open Novella Contest is all about community, consistency, and building your own audience directly.
The secret sauce of the ONC is its structure. It's a 12-week quest that's broken down into these super manageable chunks. You start with a simple prompt on February 1st, and then you have these deadlines for specific word counts. It turns the huge, scary task of writing a book into a fun, structured race.
Now, this whole contest is built around the novella. It's that sweet spot in fiction, right? It's long enough to really develop your characters, but short enough that you can actually finish it in 3 months. Think of classics like George Orwell's Animal Farm. That's a novella.
Each round is basically a test of a different storytelling skill, which is perfect for genres like romance or fantasy that move really fast. Round 1 is all about the hook. Can you grab your reader in the first few pages? Round 2 is about building that narrative momentum. And round 3 is all about sticking the landing with a great ending.
But here's the biggest difference. The grand prize isn't a big check. The real prize is building a writing habit that sticks, finding your own network of writers, your own cheerleading squad, and getting seen on a platform with millions of readers.
You walk away with a finished book and an audience that's hungry for whatever you write next. So there you have it. Two powerful but very, very different paths. One is like a focused toolkit for creating the perfect professional pitch, and the other is a community marathon designed to build unstoppable momentum.
So the choice really boils down to your ultimate goal. Novel Beginnings is for the writer who wants to perfect their craft in this structured, expert-led bubble, all to win over the traditional publishing industry. It's all about depth. The ONC, on the other hand, is for the writer who wants to build a career step-by-step, fueled by feedback from their peers and a direct connection with their readers. It's all about speed and community.
So what's the big takeaway here? As these digital ecosystems grow up, the very idea of what it means to be an author is being rewritten right before our eyes. It's not a single, narrow road with guards at the gate anymore. It's a multi-lane highway. Today's authors can actually choose the vehicle and the lane that makes the most sense for them, whether they're aiming for a major book deal or a thriving career writing serial fiction online. The power is really shifting back to the creator.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question. As the money and the old-school barriers start to fall away and these new, more open paths emerge, how is that going to change the kinds of voices we hear and the types of stories that end up defining our generation?